Lights, camera, smile. Good morning, Get Well Soon family, and happy Sunday. This is your host, Tyler Kidd, and your co-host, Angelina Mesa. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Get Well Soon podcast, season 2, Deep Below. And today we have a special guest that most of you will recognize from season 1. We have Katy.
Hi.
And I'm excited because I did not get to be on episode 7 of last season. I had running arounds to do and I had things to get done and solve and fix. And so I've been dying because Angelina texted me after the episode 7 was like, this just changed my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm so ready for that. And you just always bring the good vibes. You look amazing. I love the little glitz.
Thanks, Goddess. I'm so excited to be on here with you as well.
Yeah, so this is going to be really exciting.
Yes.
We have some good stuff to talk about.
Yes, so interesting.
How are you feeling though? Do you want to introduce yourself to some of the we have some new listeners, new viewers. We have our communities are a little Get Well Soon fam's always growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, happy Sunday, beautiful souls. My name is Katy Orowski. I am a master Reiki practitioner. I am a self-love coach, spiritual counselor, and cannabis enthusiast. So I wear many hats. And I'm just here to serve the highest and greatest good of all, help everyone heal and no longer suffer silently.
A woman of many talents.
Yes.
But that's how it's supposed to be. I feel like a lot of people think, sorry, fixing my mic everybody wants that. I feel like everybody thinks that they have to like master one thing and like actually you can just master a bunch of things, but you can also do it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like little skills and talents there.
Absolutely. I'm a sexual health coach as well. I forgot that part.
Can't forget that part.
That's what started it all. But yeah, like it all kind of found me.
That's
not what I dreamed of doing, but I'm living a dream.
Do you want to know something so crazy? I've never talked about this on the podcast. I went and saw a psychic, but this was like a boardwalk psychic. Like I forget where beach I was at. My friend Chase loves them, and I do love them too. And I will never remember this lady though because you go in, and I remember the first thing I thought was like, oh my god, she's like so rude, like off, just kind of like come in, sit down, like. Whatever, didn't ask anything, and she kind of just slowly sat there and she scribbled on a piece of paper and then she like went through the paper, gave it to you and said like have a good life. And I remember her going through things like, and I was a tomboy growing up, but she'd be like, you know, you're gonna get into beauty one day. Have you ever thought about having like your own makeup line, skincare, like stuff like that? And I was like, no, like ew, I'm never doing beauty. Like I literally was appalled. I was like, this lady's a freaking joke. Like she's so fit, whatever. She had wrote like initials of people that would like Love Life they did, Kids they did, like, and then all these little side notes. And I always had a piece of paper. It was always like pinned to one of my boards, and it was actually very accurate. And the one day I realized, I was like, wait a second, like she actually, I need to go look at that slip because I remember the beauty thing. I remember some of the initials that I had slowly over the years checked off. And I go to find it. It's nowhere to be found. I've not found it to this day. And I'm like a hoarder when it comes to like sentimental little knickknacks. I have like a half broken Chuck E. Cheese coin that my little brother gave me a while ago. And I'm not throwing it out. I can't find it.
It's
can't find it.
purpose.
Yeah, but I just feel like things always does find you. Like, that was kind of cool because, like I said, at that time, I really wasn't I will never forget. I was like, she's a joke. Goodbye. Like we were all talking on the boardwalk. And my friend Tracy's like, I felt like mine was real, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then but the thing is, I don't remember we don't know who it was. We can't remember what beach we were at. Like,
Oh my God.
it's like if I ever find her one day, I'll have her do another one and see.
Well, I can't wait for your skincare and makeup line.
Me too, but I want to do it when I can be like in factories type of thing.
Yeah,
That was something I wouldn't do at home. But yeah, I feel like I would just make like a really simple, nice, like 5-step, 3-step routine that's just like organic and stuff so people don't have to spend all their money on the crazy stuff.
Or something simple.
Or like how to make, I'm sure you could like make, well you can make skincare remedies at home, masks, things like that. This one girl always talks to me about, she loves like this honey mask she makes at home.
Ooh, I love honey.
Me too. I will eat it in spoonfuls.
So good.
I get the Pliables honey. I like go there and buy theirs because they harvest it. I forget where, and it is some of the best tasting honey. But if there's honey, like a Honey Mart or something, I'm there.
I go to a honey farm, right, where they like extract it and all. It's pretty awesome.
You get to see it all and everything.
Yeah, and they're like pouring it out of the like tins they just put it in. I just refill my jars. It's
And don't they?
amazing.
Do they put them to sleep? They
Um,
did do that. You know the Bee movie when they're like, shh, you know?
Yeah. He did that back there, so I don't get to see that part. I'm
Okay.
sure if I asked, I could. I'll have to ask him next
Isn't that
time.
like a frowned upon thing
I don't know.
about like putting bees to sleep? I feel like I got onto like that side of social media one time.
Or are you just thinking of the Bee movie?
Either or. It is very much either or. I don't know why I thought something about maybe like rehoming bees or like how they like capture them and then they take them away. It messes up the ecosystem in the area that they were taken from. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Possibly.
I literally could be making that up simply because of the Bee movie, and my brain just can't like differentiate the two. But yeah, we have a really exciting episode. Now it's everybody's favorite time and my least favorite time, and that's to get through the sponsorship. How many takes does it get to get through the sponsorship? This podcast is sponsored by New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness. For those of you that haven't heard this before, this is maybe your first episode. New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness is a place that takes a different approach to figuring out who you are, why you think the way you think, and why you act the way you act. They then, using who you actually are, your upbringing, who you were as a kid, a teenager, environmental things, they'll teach you about, how you got there. And then this is what you can do to better yourself from this point forward. We have a couple of you guys that now come here, and I love when I get the message and you guys are like, oh, I love it. I love that stuff. So if you ever want to check them out, they're amazing, and it's a very unique approach in terms of holistic counseling to therapy. The QR code will be up on both sides of the screen for you to scan, and you can just check them out. It doesn't hurt if you're looking.
The Get Well Soon podcast now offers a resource center in all of our links in our bios, and we will continue to add and update it as the show goes on.
We just want to be here for you guys in the best way possible and best ways possible. So recently, we went and partnered with like YouTube Health and the National Alliance for Eating Disorders.
Yeah.
Got some resources there for you guys. I put in Katy's resources for healing and wellness in that sense too. And I feel like Katy gives a very like homey, it's just genuine. That's the word I want. Very genuine type of healing. I'm not too, and description wise, I don't know how to explain what you do, in the way, obviously I'm struggling right now, you guys, so I hope everybody understands what I'm trying to say, but the vibe it gives is amazing, and you guys should check that out as well if you're ever looking to, get a little, it doesn't hurt to get a little outside anything, a little outside help, advice, insight, good woo-woo.
You goddesses are amazing, by the way. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, thank you.
Serving the highest good of all.
Before this episode starts, we do want to give a verbal disclaimer. Obviously, we always show a disclaimer in the beginning of the YouTube videos. We don't verbally say, usually just because we're never talking too severe. Sometimes we get a little crazy, but it's out of good intent. But today we are going to be talking about some topics that are considered triggering. They are sensitive, things like that. So just with the topics that we're going to be talking about, we do want to give a verbal disclaimer for anybody listening and anybody watching. We want this to be a safe place. You guys know we always say create the space. So if by any means, at any point, anything makes you uncomfortable, we won't be mad at you. You just click out of it and we'll see you next episode. But I think the way that we have it set up, you guys, everybody's going to be A-okay. September is Suicide Prevention Month. Unfortunately, it's a shame that we have to have a month dedicated to something like that, and that there are so many people in this world, to be exact, actually. But before we go on the topic, I did want to read the stats just to kind of verbally give the emphasis on how much that suicidal and dark thoughts and negative things really affect not just the United States, not just your small town, your city, the world. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the U.S. alone. In 2022, 50,000 Americans died by suicide, so it's 49,476. And in 2022, so we were coming out of the pandemic around then, there was 1.6 million suicide attempts. 1.6 million people did not want to be here. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why? And a lot of us we might not know the exact reason why, but that's not the way I would say it, but I would assume that each of us sitting here, based on what we do with our lives now, at one point came from a place of like a dark spot. I know I did. I know the whole reason I do everything I do now, get well soon and stuff, is from that, but
I would say I came from a different dark spot where I like basically self-sabotaged, like drugs, alcohol,
yeah,
excessive sex, like unprotected sex, like all of those, because I didn't value myself.
100%. I remember, I was drinking bad. I was smoking Black and Milds, like by the pack. Like that's the way you said it. Like you didn't value anything going on, yeah. So you're kind of just like throwing yourself to absolutely like anything you're doing, and hypersexual activity too, because you're not valuing the whole giving your body and space to somebody. And then, and if you're comfortable about it, have you ever been, I know, well, you've talked about it last pod.
Yeah, I've definitely been in a dark spot. I always say Savannah saved me.
Thank you. In the eating disorder seminar that we did, they were talking about how when people speak about awareness and things like that, there's certain ways that we do it it's positive, it's genuine, it's meant in a good way, but it actually can be more negative effect. Like for the eating disorders, it was instead of talking about like how bad it was or like the things she used to do that triggers other people or then also gives other people new ideas, just speak about your recovery, just speak about how it got better and
you overcame.
Yeah, how you overcame versus like being, in it. So, I mean, to briefly, just because I also think that there's a balance to have with that, because you want people to also know that they're not alone in the struggles that they're going through. But for me, briefly, like I've always said, I was very deep, dark thoughts. I never thought, I just didn't want to be here. If you had asked me in high school what I was going to do in college, I had no idea. If you asked me what I wanted to do with my life, I had no idea. Anything like that. And I didn't. Like I literally, there was just blank. Nowadays, I could tell you 5 different lives I want to live. Like it's crazy. And I used to always think that I wasn't wanted, or when I would, the spaces that I would take up, it was like, I shouldn't be here. People don't like me, all these other things. And it would get such a severity that it's like, okay, like I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not wanted. I don't want myself. I don't love myself. Nobody else does. Like, and that's almost justifying the thoughts. Like, yeah, like they hate me. That's deserved. They don't like me. They don't want me around. Nobody listens to me when I speak. Things like that. That led to a really rough upbringing of always doing attempts. And I never like harmed myself, I guess you could say, but in terms of wanting to die, that was what I struggled with. It was just straight to, I don't want to be here. And then I healed, I grew, and it's not something that happens like this. It's just one day. You have to want more for yourself. You wake up wanting more for yourself. You think about yourself just a little bit more than you did the day before, and it's like a snowball effect if you do something about the way that you feel. And now I look back at those moments and I'm like, wow, okay, so my depression about people hating me and not listening when I talked, and I wasn't important and I wasn't lovable and stuff like that, that didn't come because that was actually true. That actually comes from a deeper underlying problem. My dad left when I was little, in and out. My mom was too busy to be paying attention. Nobody was listening to when I was speaking. And so it's like, back then I thought the answer was, okay, I need to die. I don't need to be here. When in reality, the answer was like working on those past traumas. But at certain ages, when you don't have the resources and the support around you, you don't know that that's what it is. You don't know that the thoughts and stuff you're having are coming from an actual place, but it's not the place that you think it's from. It's just because you went through something that was traumatic and you're having a traumatic response. And I think if they taught that more in schools, like I don't think it's taught. I remember when, and I don't want to speak, I always feel like I'm just ranting and talking, so you guys can cut me off at any point. But when my best friend died in high school when he died by, how do you refer to it? By suicide?
Yeah.
When he took himself out of the game, when he said goodbye, adios amigos, goodbye friends, it was actually like, it was like we were allowed to talk about it at school, but only for a week. I'll never forget my free writing teacher. I didn't go to school for like 2 weeks. So when I finally came back, I had wrote something and I went to read it in my free writing class, and she had told me that everyone else had started to move on, so don't open that wound back up. And that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Because one, she was one of my favorite teachers. She's still one of my favorite teachers to this day. But it's always crazy to me that the comfortability of others came at the cost of my healing. And like in schools, that's where we spend most of our times. We're there with you teachers most of the days of the year, things like that. So I just think, and there weren't a lot of resources. Of course, after that, they bring in a grief counseling group. But at that point, I mean, thank you for that. But at that point, we kind of passed a point of not going back. Like, there should have been other resources other than, okay, well, if it happens, then we'll take care of you guys. But what about before that? Like, what, prevention?
Mm-hmm.
It was like 98.7% of Americans think that suicide is preventable. 94% of adults surveyed in the U.S. think suicide can be prevented. And I do agree. I 100% agree. Because I think about, like, if there was somebody who talks about the things that I talk about in my life, and I did, and that's another thing too, is that you kind of do have people who will help you, but your brain's such in that rut that it's like they're not really there to, stuff like that. But I think there's still that, like, people get scared or like uncomfortable to have that conversation. I wanted to speak about, because a lot of people think with this kind of stuff that, like, it happens, like I said, just happens like this. Like, one day you wake up, boom, you're healed. But it's always a forever process. You're forever
Absolutely. Going
to be trying to get to this, like, immaculate, perfect version of yourself and striving to be, like, this, if everything could be perfect, the person that would be. And realistically, you'll never be perfect.
Never.
But you can always work to better yourself. And every day
Absolutely.
you can improve yourself by 1%. I love that study. So I guess I wanted to ask both of you guys, what would you say was a moment where it wasn't that all of a sudden everything got better, obviously, but that moment where it was like, whoa. And it doesn't have to be necessarily with, like, depression or anything, but the time that I guess was most influential in your life to where you had that light bulb moment and it changed a part of you or a part of your life that you can see to this day.
I'd love to share.
Yeah.
Mine was when I learned how to love myself, because I thought that I loved myself. Like, I would tell people, if you don't love yourself, no one else can. And I would low-key, in a lovingly way, judge people in abusive relationships. Like, I don't understand how she stays in that relationship. And here I was sleeping on a fucking couch, like, uncomfortable, because I didn't know my worth, to the point where I started saying I love you to myself, like, in a mirror. And I see Tyler's mirror there because I gave them mirrors.
I wanted to bring that up in, like, the little end, like,
last
I'm
season.
not going to ruin it right now, but yeah.
So I learned to say I love you to myself, like, actually looking at myself in a mirror and saying I love you to myself. And it was my first superpower, and it changed my mother effing life. And literally,
It's the biggest superpower.
it truly is.
Loving yourself is the big, like, you could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can do anything.
It's a superpower for sure.
If you love yourself.
Literally.
I always tell people and this isn't factual, just based for me, like, there's certain things in growth and healing and wellness and having that life that you strive for and you want and you dream about that you can't reach if you don't love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You really, like, it's, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but you're not, because if you don't love yourself, then the way that you're going through things and the way that you're perceiving things and putting out into the world, you'll never hit that highest self moment if you're not in love with yourself. And, like, not even just loving yourself, being in love with yourself, taking yourself out on dates, pampering yourself, treating yourself, speaking to yourself nicely. I'm going to say this, and I hope there's no children watching because I gave a disclaimer, but if your parents let you watch it, Katy's here, so I'll say, you know, pleasing yourself, being confident in doing things like that. And I always talk about take yourself out. I love taking myself out on dates. Oh, it's like, even in getting nice, going out, two, no, just me, just one. I even tell my mom sometimes, I'm like, she's like, I want to go out, but I don't really want to go see anybody specific, or I don't really want to go like on a date night. I kind of just like, and will you go with me? And sometimes I go, but the times that I can't go, I'm like, just go, get yourself dressed up, look hot, go to a nice bar, sit down. That way, men will come up to you. You might not have to pay for anything. You can say hi, you can have different conversations, and at the end of the night, you can be like, peace out, going home to my kids, good night, I work in the morning. And she did it one time, and she loved it. She hasn't done it again since, but she was like, that was actually fun. Like, and I was like, see, like,
Tyler, did you drink
my cup of water before my coffee? Yes, I did.
Cool job.
We are 5 days in a row. I've kept the same routine for 5 days now, and it's been an amazing time.
Yes.
The book, the Atomic Habits book, is changing my life. Shout out to something with a D, Derek. I don't know. He's great. Whoever is writing this Atomic Habits book, 10 out of 10, makes my days. Oh, I love it. Like habit stacking, habit tracking, all that stuff. 10 out of 10, making new habits. It makes you realize a lot about how we're wired for things, like automatic responses. I was just telling Angelina, I just learned about, it's like D-I-E-T-O-R-I, D-R-T, something like that. Not method. Now I have to know, but it's right here in my text because I just texted my friend about it. It's it's D-I-D-E-R-O-T, Diderot, something effect, and it's like how we're wired that when we buy one thing or like we upgrade one thing, we immediately start thinking of the next purchase, and then that's where like the over consuming comes from. So like when you buy a dress, you can just buy the dress. But no, you have to buy the earrings, you have to buy the new shoes, and you got to buy the new, and the makeup, and then, you know, things like that. And I was like, wow, that's like where my spending problem comes. So now that I'm aware of that, I can tell myself, you don't have to go that far. You could just stop at the dress because you have shoes, you have earrings, and I think that will save me a couple bucks. So maybe that'll help one of you shopper people. Before jumping to Angelina's moment of like enlightenment, we could say, yours is kind of unique because most people, they were in like a bad place and thinking and knowing that they're in a bad place, and then not jumping, but then getting that thought to bring them to a good place. But you thought you were in a good place. It wasn't that you were sitting there like, oh, I'm miserable, or oh, I'm in a rough relationship, or no, it was like, I'm good, my life's good. And then it kind of like, I think that's unique. I don't know. And there could be people listening to where they're like, oh my God, yes, that was me. Like, I actually thought I was good. I was, you know, I wasn't facing depression and things like that when I had that moment. So I don't know. I just think that those kind of things just prove that it's never black and white. It's never one way or another. It's always very different and situational. Your growth and healing is going to look different than your best friends. It's going to look different than your parents, things like that. And online, when people post, wellness things and stuff like that, it's made to seem very like
black and
boom,
white.
yeah. And even me, I post my journal and things like that. Some people could look at my stuff and be like, her life changed because, well, this is actually kind of true, but her life changed because she journals every morning. Well, yeah, but I also cry on some days, and some days I scream at my steering wheel, and some days I sleep for 11 hours. And then there's some days that I just don't do anything and I binge watch 3 seasons of The Walking Dead. Like, do you know what I mean? So people, you see things online. So it's emphasized, like, when we see these, we're so submerged and have social media and society thrown in our face. There's not a single person that goes through healing, growth, or wellness like that. And there's nobody that does it with like a little tiny band-aid on them. No, true transformation hurts.
It's not easy.
But it is the most rewarding thing in life, because then after you start, because then it's never ending, but once you start, you are going to live the best version of your life as long as you strive for it. And like I would say, my life, I might complain here and there. I might be like, oh, I'm tired or I'm busy or whatever. I'm living my dream life, and it just keeps unraveling and unraveling and unraveling. And I'm like, I can't believe I didn't want to be here. I think about that all the time. Like, I can't believe I didn't want to be a part of this. I can't believe I didn't want my 6 kids that I now want. I can't believe, because the psych lady that I talked about earlier, she said I was having 3 kids, and that's the only part of the reading that I reject. I rebuke. I need 6, so double it. She just forgot 3 more. She didn't know I'm going to have 3 sets of twins.
Right, she didn't double it.
She didn't double it. We weren't connected fully.
3 sets of twins. Oh my god.
No, I just saw some lady post, it was on Facebook Reels, her belly at 13 weeks, and I was like, what? I was like, she has to be carrying like triplets. Like, there's no way. Like, she was she had a big belly. And she had these they weren't even big twins. I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't know if I actually still want twins. And like, props to the mothers of twins, because I was like, it's so natural but unnatural the way our bodies can
grow
that big. Yeah.
grow that big. I literally was like, I was expecting 3, and I was expecting 3 like 10-pounders, like chunky. By the way, my friend Marley is going into labor today. So Marley, if you're watching this while
Labor?
recovering.
What do you mean? She's gonna get induction?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when you said going into labor, like, you're like,
Because isn't it scheduled? Like, you're scheduled for labor?
well, it doesn't, it
For an
won't,
induction.
it won't happen right away. It actually takes,
Well,
it can take very long.
Unless it's a C-section.
Congratulations.
Yes,
to you.
congrats.
Because when this comes out, there'll be a new little bestie in the world. I don't really have kids' names picked out. Because I feel like every time I have a name I like, somebody has the baby with the name, and so I've stopped. I'll just think about it when it happens. Especially because I don't think I'm going to know the gender of my first. I think I'm going to do that just
For you. I love that.
yeah. I'll do like, just give me like
Good for you.
neutral kind of stuff. Well, because I want to do the natural. I don't want to do the gender. I'll do like a cute gender reveal with my second maybe, or like my last. I was thinking that. I don't even have a man. Let me stop. I'm like planning something. I say that all the time. Like, I always go in deep dives about kids and babies, and like my own, and then I'm like, you gotta start somewhere first. You can't just like
Don't even have
hop
a
them
man.
out of the air. Yeah, just like, oh man. Angelina, what was the moment that you had that kind of, I know you talked about your daughter, so I don't know if that would be the most kind of like light bulb moment for you, and if it is, like, what was?
I think I had 2. Because I don't think I was like, I don't want to say I'm like fully healed either. Like, I still have my ups and downs. Everyone does. But I think my first like light bulb was when I left my toxic relationship, my last relationship. I was like, damn, this is what it feels like not to like have so much pressure on you and feel like you have to be this person that you're not, or if you're good enough, and always questioning your self-worth. I think when I had left that relationship, it was like a light bulb. I was like, oh, okay, so I haven't really been loving myself. Like, I'm trying to be someone I'm not. Let me get my shit together kind of thing. And I still like wasn't sure what, like, where my future was. Like, I always knew I wanted to be a nurse, but I had like step backs from taking a semester off, or like just dropping out for like a little, or feeling like I wasn't studying enough because I was too worried about a relationship, and I just never like saw like the light at the end of the tunnel where my goals were. So once I left that relationship, I was like, okay, I finally can see I really can see myself being a nurse. Let me get my shit together. And I ended up finding a really good guy, Sean. And he definitely helped some things. I still wasn't fully healed. I was still in therapy, and I was still working on myself. So I think that's where we like have butt heads because I still wanted to just focus on me,
Yeah.
kind of thing. It was very weird how it all aligned, and then I got pregnant with Savannah, and I just remember sitting on the bathroom floor, like, oh my gosh, like bawling my eyes out, scared out of my mind. What the hell am I gonna do? Because at this point, I was like, I'm moving far, 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 far away because I don't see my life here anymore. And then she kind of was my reason, like, oh shit, I really always just wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I think that's not talked about enough as women, and their purpose. I feel like people are so scared to say that their future, they just want to be a mom. And that's okay if you just want to be a mom, because a mom is more than a full-time job. You never stop working, you never stop worrying. So I think...
Oh, like the whole, I was just thinking about something, and the whole like stay-at-home mom bashing. Which I will give a positive note. I feel like, and this is a positive thing from social media, that people now, it's like, you know, there's that stay-at-home mom niche of categories, that it's not as frowned upon as it used to be, but it's still not as talked about or understood on like why that is the way it is. And that is because I say that, like, by the time I have kids, I don't necessarily want to be like some crazy businesswoman. It'll always be there.
Yeah.
But, like, just get a bunch of babies and a comfy place that I can nest in, and everybody have a great time.
Yeah.
Like, but that's because, like, we're literally like wired like that. And there's some people who don't ever want kids.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
But it's also okay if that's okay. I think it's okay for women to be like, I just want to be a mom.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't want to be. I do want to be nothing else. Well, if you're not, then you're obviously something else. But no, I agree. And I agree that if you want your life to be, I wake up the kids, I cook breakfast. Like, I like when these ladies have all the kids, so she opens up like the griddle out on the deck. And she's like sausage patties. Yeah. It's like, there's joy in that. Yeah. There's joy in them cutting up 6 different trays of lunches and packing them color coordinated for your 6 kids for the color coordinated backpacks. And then mommy drops them off, and then mommy goes to Target, and mommy like takes daddy's car. Yeah. And she decorates the house, and then she gets her Starbucks, she goes home, and she cleans, and she does the laundry, and because if people think like stay-at-home moms, it's like
they don't do anything.
And no, it's just because they have moments of like joy and alone time and stuff like that. That is well freaking deserved. Yeah. Because they're, like you said, it's more than a full-time job. So, you know, you go home and clean, stuff like that, make yourself a lunch, then get the kids, and then you do the homework, you do the bathing, and then you do the dinners, and then you do bedtime, and at the same time, you have to be raising the kids in a right way. Are you communicating them properly? Are you not lashing out when you're overstimulated? Or, you know, all these things. Then your husband comes home, you make your husband dinner, you have dinner, now you have to play wife. Not play wife, but now you have to do, you know, be there for a partner. Yeah. Well, you have a partner, so now you know, conversate with your partner. How's your day going? Stuff like that. Yeah. That is a fully packed day. Yeah. And if you want to do that every day, then that's actually, like, good for you.
I think that's the most rewarding job that there is.
It's because it's all love. Yeah. It's just, you're not doing that because you're getting paid. Yeah. You're not doing that because you get a better job, promotion. Yeah. You're doing that because I love you. I want to take care of you and, like, water you and make you, like, a beautiful person. Yeah. Which Angelina does phenomenally. But as I was saying, where Canon decided to do its weird thing of cutting us off, you have an amazing daughter that I met briefly a few times, but I'm excited because she's coming with you to the annual Get Well Soon party. Yes. So that's always a great time, and I'm around Savannah all the time. She is just like she's so intelligent, and I think that when kids are really small and they're intelligent, it's because they're in a space that allows that intelligence to just bloom. There's activities that they're doing. There's a lot. There's not so much of like melting their brain with an iPad, and that's to each his their own. But I don't. You guys are really keeping Apple in business. Couldn't be me. That's all I said. Like, when I'm out to eat and I look around and every kid is like, even there'll be like little babies that have like headsets
to screens.
Oh, to the screen. Can we talk about? Because I don't think we ever talked about this. One time when we were out to dinner and that mom like thanked me. Remember?
At Cheeks and Pete's?
Yes.
For like letting, so Savannah was on demon was. But it was funny because she was like, she was saying hi to everybody, but she was like screaming. And it was like one of those moments to where you're either going to entertain and figure out a solution to how you can have this dinner with a kid, or you would have put an iPad in front of her. But Angelina doesn't do that. So I didn't remember that, and I don't really remember exactly what she said, but I remember she said, like, because we were kind of like chasing her under at one point, me and Angelina said, have fun. We sat there, we were those people that the kid is climbing up and down in between us, around, sticking her head up from under the table and waving at people, and like we are eating our shrimp boil, our seafood boil. Our fingers are disgusting, and as long as she was right there next to us, like, whatever.
She was like banging on the window, her hands were print all over the window.
Do you remember the person that she stood there and she went, hi, and they walked by and didn't say anything? Straight face. I said, what a miserable motherfucker. One thing about me, you don't ignore a child.
Yeah.
You don't. If the child is waving at you, you wave back. I don't care if it's the worst day of your life. You wave back because the baby doesn't understand why you wouldn't. And then you smile at them. And you don't be a big meanie head. So when I'm with kids and they're nice to somebody, or they're like, thank you, or they hold the door. I almost got in an argument on vacation. I didn't tell you about this. Elijah held the door for somebody, and they just sweet, like he even kind of like sprinted ahead of them to hold it and walked right past him. So, and sometimes I have to think before I speak. This is not one of those times. I have Elijah with me, so I shouldn't have cursed. But I was like, ignorant motherfuckers don't know how to say thank you. But I kind of was like saying it to myself almost. Like it wasn't like I turned to them and I screamed it at them. It was like we were walking and passing. Yeah. And when I realized that they didn't say thank you to him, I was like,
you just spoke your thought out.
Yeah. Because, excuse me, like he literally sprinted so you didn't have to do that and whatever. Elijah was like, she turned around. And I turned around and sure enough, she was there. And I said, it's called thank you. Elijah was like, stop, you're embarrassing me. No. I was like, you understand one day, but sometimes you have to
draw a line.
Because if nobody draws a line with somebody, they'll do it for the rest of their life. Yeah. I'm sure next time she goes to look past somebody holding a door for her, she'll at least debate. She'll think about the time that some ladies called her an ignorant motherfucker in a nice Jersey accent. But, like you said, but that was nice. Oh, yeah, so the lady came up.
Yeah, she came up after dinner. She had, like, 4 kids with her.
Was the lady right behind us?
Yes, okay. And remember she had the 2 kids were on the iPads, and they were in their pajamas.
I should not like that there was these like girls in like pajamas. Like it wasn't like mid. Like how I could wear how these could probably be pajamas and I'd be like bummy there, but like no, it was like fuzzy plaid. And
like no denying.
No denying that it was pajamas. That it was middle of summer. Yeah, and chicken and peas. But no offense, I get it. You had 4 kids. I probably would have done the same when I had 4 kids. But she like came up to us and she was like, your daughter's so cute. And the girls kept her daughters, or I don't know if it was her daughter's friends too. They kept like talking to Savannah and she was like, thank you. I was like, for what? And what did she say? She was like,
that's what I can't remember, but I know that she thanked you. Something about like,
not like,
I know the general sense was most people would have put an iPad in front of her and you didn't, and props to you for sitting here and figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's basically the thing about it.
And I was like, thank you. It literally made my night. I was like so happy.
Like, the norm now is
shove a phone or an iPad.
I couldn't stand this when I was waitressing. It wouldn't be the iPad. So that if they didn't have an iPad, it was we're going to give them every creamer and jelly and sugar packet and let them smash it all over the counter, all over the whatever, because I'm not going to talk to my kid. Like I was never somebody that told anybody how to parent or whatever, but there would be times where I literally would be like, do you want me to take the kid? I actually did hold someone's kid one time. But do you want me? I'll take the kid in the back and we'll have a field day. Like something, because the kid's screaming. Everybody, that's another thing too. It's like people think if I just ignore the kid, it'll stop.
Right. Like, that's the last thing that they want.
No, your child's having an emotional thing right now.
Tantrum.
The child would like your attention.
Yeah.
Looking, like literally people just keep eating. And the baby's like, and I'm like, do you guys need anything? Like, do you want to? No, look at the kid at the end of the table that has drooled all over the counter.
Meanwhile,
jellies are squished on the ground. And they're like, yeah, iPad, boom. I'm like,
Meanwhile, I'm like I'm just letting Savannah eat the cheese out.
Oh my god, do you remember how she wanted, we had like the cheap mozzarella balls and she couldn't eat the whole thing, so we were breaking off in pieces? No. She needed the entire mozzarella ball because a piece and the whole were not the same thing. And the french fries and the cheese sauce?
I can't.
No, she's an aggressive eater. She's not like gentle. She's not gentle. Like she's about to tear it up. She is. What's the thing with the meme? It's like tear it up online. Terry, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
I can't think of what it is, but no. If you open up a snack near Savannah, this is how you know too that she's like a very healthy baby. Like she's not like not eating or like things like that. It's not like it's overeating, but if you open up a snack, she's excited. Like she's coming for whatever whatever wrapper I just heard, crinkle, I'm coming to figure out what that was that you're eating.
Yeah.
She loves the yogurt, her yogurt face all the time.
Yeah. My protein bars, thank you.
Yes. She's
my
obsessed.
$3 protein bars, thank you.
Remember the day she ate one back to back?
Yeah.
You were like, you just had one, and she was like, that was it. She needs that protein bar right now.
But talking about kids, I feel like this would be a great time to talk about circumcision.
Yeah, so it came to me in the summertime about when I was doing a Reiki session.
So since we did our anonymous submissions, a bunch of them last episode,
Yeah.
you guys will have to wait for next episode for anonymous submissions.
That's fine.
I think we should just do.
We'll do 3 next week.
Yeah, we'll do 3 next week to make up for you guys, only because it also is PCOS month, and I do want to touch base on that
Yeah.
and not take time away from the female women's body as well, because she is magical.
Yes.
It deserves a round of applause for what it goes through, what it can do. So let's do our would you rather, and as always, let us know after you hear that what would you rather do. Some people answer these, some people don't.
Yeah.
You guys can just say you can't make up your mind, but just tell us what you pick. Just give us a little something. Get it.
Would you rather overcome a significant challenge with little support, or have strong support but face the challenge more frequently?
Would you rather go through things less, or like go through, what was it?
With no support.
With no support, or have a lot of support but constantly be going through something?
Yeah.
I would pick less support and less troubles. Only because when you love yourself and you're in love with yourself and like you got yourself, hypothetically at the end of the day, you really do only need yourself. So if it's just me and a couple of problems, no biggie. But I could have 10 people and you give me 100 problems. Not necessarily having those 10 people is going to help with those 100 problems. And if they keep coming, no, I need a break. I need you to bug off. Like that's like Miss Stupid never leaving.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. You better pay rent, bitch.
Yes.
Katie, you feel the same way?
I think I do, yeah. That's an interesting question, but I do feel because I feel like it makes us stronger.
Yeah.
As of saying dependency.
Yeah, and it helps us to grow, and then we grow through it instead of just continuously going through it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
like the way you just said that.
Growing through it instead of
Going through it, just going through it.
our podcast guests love dropping bars on our podcast. That was really good. Clip that one as well. So my would you rather is, would you rather always carry the same beliefs, but you have to keep them no matter what? So no situational decisions, etc. Or have a life full of constantly changing beliefs. So you're constantly having to readjust what you're thinking, how you view things, stuff like that, put the work in for that. But you are able to adapt and understand any person or environment.
Go ahead, Katie.
I'm going to constantly change beliefs.
And just have
Absolutely.
Because I don't think that
100%.
Yeah.
I already have.
And it's not easy.
It is not.
To wire yourself a certain way and then be challenged to rewire it and then rewire it and then so like right now I'm rewiring how I view at like business motivation drive and like finding balance in personal and like me time and stuff like that. And I've been having this mindset like no, you have to work hard, you sleep when you're dead, like that kind of stuff. And I wired it. Now I'm like, I just wired myself like this last year. Now I have to unwire that and then rewire a different way. And at the same time you're rewiring, so, like some people,
It's work. So it was easy. Everyone would do it.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
just going to say that's why you have people who stick with the same, like, outdated, unchanged
Easy
beliefs.
yeah.
Because it's easy for them and it's comfortable. People love comfortability and people hate when you shake things up. I learned that on TikTok.
Yeah.
People don't like to shake.
No.
But I'll take the bottle and I'll go, and then I'll be like, okay, have a field day. How you guys feeling? And sometimes people will be like, I love it here. And I'm like, I know, like, it's a great place. And then people are like, oh, I hate you. Why would you ever? And I'm like, you're just mad because I shook it up. I shook it up. But I agree. And you said the same too for you and right? Just,
oh yeah. Are you
just
the constant
and I
change?
think also too, like when you become a mom,
You have to
switch
change
stuff like that. But then you have moms who don't,
Yeah.
and they're, and not necessarily this isn't bad, but when they're like still going out, or they're just when children get neglected, it's when the person doesn't become a parental figure, they just stay in that
Which is how generational trauma continues.
Instead of changing it.
So let us know, what would you pick? Would you always be the same person, different person? Would you like the support of yourself or a village? But there's always in our would you rather, there's always a cost. You don't, especially if it's Angelina's. Angelina is good with the would you rather. So
I said season 2, I have to like step it up. So that's what I've been
the would you rather's Angelina gives are really good. So as much as September is for suicide prevention month, there's actually a lot of things in September, but
9/11,
we have there's a list, and me and Angelina are going to implement things like that, talking about
the beginning of the month.
at the beginning of the month. I just did that. It's in our form. We have it in there. There's a lot of awareness days and months and weeks in the year, so bear with us. We will always try to really touch base on as many as we can. As many as that, we can truly give you guys good, valuable content about. And so this month is also, we do want to say with the 9/11 thing, we had posted about it on our podcast, but just love, just so much love for the people that went in when they didn't have to, the people that did things when they didn't have to, and it cost them their lives, saving other lives, the people that obviously passed. I mean, I've only been in the memorial in New York City once, and I will never go in there again, only because it's just devastating. Like when you go in the room with everyone's pictures, and there's just these unidentified ones, and then there's the ones that they can't give you a picture because they were children.
Yeah.
So just something we'll never forget. We really will never forget. And I think
changed our whole country as a whole. And this is the worst. And I always hear this saying every 9/11. It says, it's something like, I wish 9/11 never happened, but I wish our country would be how it was
On 9/12.
On 9/12.
I was gonna say that I hope that as the years go on and things like that it's not forgotten. And obviously it's a very devastating thing, but it's something that we can't change.
No.
It happened. So I hope that the focus kind of always remains on the heroes.
Yeah.
What society and what people did together as humans. It didn't matter their race. It didn't matter it didn't matter. It was this is our home. This is where we love. This is where we live. I think, like I said, on the 12th, that we should always be striving to be as together as we were on 9/12.
Yeah.
And that's what 9/11 should be a reminder of, not of the scariness and things like that, because obviously it was scary, traumatizing, but as the years go on, we don't with grief, you have to kind of you just gotta keep going and just trying to have a light chest with it all. And I think by focusing on that, you can achieve that. And then with PCOS, so none of us have PCOS.
No.
So we're not speaking out of a place of we go through it, but we have female bodies. We know I've had issues with my female. We all, it's ever changing. There's always things, especially as females, we aren't brought up really being taught about our bodies. We're not taught about what things exactly are. It's kind of just you have boobs, they grow when you get bigger. You get a period, boom, now you can have babies. And then it's just okay, good luck. Have fun.
Right. What else?
What else? They don't talk about. So the definition of PCOS is a hormonal disorder caused by enlarged ovaries with small cysts on the outer edges. The cause of polycystic ovary syndrome isn't well understood, but may involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors, which I thought was crazy that it can be an environmental thing because I didn't know that PCOS can actually just manifest itself.
Stress.
But when you search on, when I first searched up PCOS definition, I had to dig for what I just read. What Google simply gives you is polycystic ovary syndrome is a condition where you have few, unusual, or very long periods. And then I found the actual definition. I was like, that's not to be, like I said, I'm not professional, I don't whatever, but that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're telling me I had to dig to find what it was, but you're telling me that, PCOS is just like a weird period. And that's why when women come to doctors and they said, something's wrong, I don't feel right, something's not, is it usual? No, your period's just long, I have birth control here, it'll solve it out. Or, like it's always like symptoms and things like that are so disregarded. And PCOS, I mean, before even looking it up, I was new. Oh my God, my phone's typing. I was new about PCOS because there's a lot of celebrities. Halsey, one of my favorite artists, has it. And I know like there's the infertility, things like that. But I want to the listeners and viewers, I'm asking you guys, if you know what PCOS is prior to us just explaining it. Have you ever really been talked about it with your doctor? Have you ever been educated on it? And it's crazy because the complications of PCOS, just so that people understand more about what women with PCOS can go through. Infertility goes up to 80%. Type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, sleep apnea, acne, cardiovascular diseases, hair loss, weight gain, breast cancer, depression, endometrial cancer, fatty liver, gestational diabetes. This is from a .org, by the way. Angelina put me onto educational sources. Irregular absent periods, complications of pregnancy, ovarian cysts, darkened skin, mental disorder, preeclampsia, miscarriage, preterm birth, skin tags. The list goes on. So no, PCOS isn't just when your period is a weird period. It's it's a struggle. It's a very bad struggle that a lot of women go through. Not.
Two of my close friends actually have it, and they go through a lot. And
do you know if it's genetic or if it was environmental? Because that part really is. I'm so curious about that. I haven't looked into it.
No, I did not, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably not, but that's also.
I don't know if you could test if it's genetic or.
Well, I guess I think you could. You could cancel it out. Like if it's not genetic, if it's not in your genes, then it would. It's
the
like
environment.
It would be like one or the other.
Stress and
But do they even test for that? Do they even test to see if it is genetic versus environmental? And I just wanted to read so people understand like how many women, before asking you, like any, because you're all about the wellness and healing in like a natural, supportive way. It affects 8 to 13% of reproductive aged women, but 70% of affected women remain undiagnosed worldwide. So it's not really 8 to 13%, when 70% of the
are undiagnosed.
Undiagnosed. It runs in families, but there are ethnic variations in how it manifests itself and affects its people. It is the commonest cause of. What is this word?
Anovulation.
What is that?
I'm not
You
sure.
And the most leading cause of infertility. So, when you have these people who are like struggling to have, and my favorite type of stories, sorry, I'm still trying to search this word up. My favorite type of stories is when somebody's told they can't have kids and they struggle, whatever. And it's like, nope, you're not having them. And then one random day they're pregnant and they're like, excuse me, I was told like I can't have kids.
Yeah.
Because it's made to seem like it's a definite, nope, it's never happening. And I love when even people I know somebody who they adopted, so they started adopting kids, and then boom, after her third adopted kid, she's pregnant, and she's like, oh, and those are my favorites. And you were told you couldn't do it, and you went full term, and you have a healthy baby, and it's just like screw you, PCOS, and the people who say you never can. I don't feel like you should tell anybody you never can, I know obviously if you say people who get hurt with nerves and stuff like that, but I still think don't tell them that they'll never walk again. You never know. What if me and my dad watched the Paralympics, I don't want to be ignorant.
Paralympics.
Whatever. All I'm gonna say is you guys need to watch them, and you will never tell yourself you can't again. I watched people play basketball with no arms or legs, and that it was crazy. I watched somebody swim with no arms and legs. None. Swim.
Yeah.
like
Can't or you can.
So don't
whatever
ever
you
tell
believe.
somebody that they can't do something because they definitely can.
Yeah.
And this word that I can't say, anovulation. Anovulation, thank you, is when the ovaries do not release during a menstrual cycle. Therefore, you don't have your period. So it's the reason that you miss your periods. But yeah, if you want to, I think it'd be nice to like, wrap up the episode just talking about ways that women can support their bodies themselves.
Absolutely. So I believe that like it all begins with stress. That is definitely one of the environmental triggers. And relieving stress and anxiety regularly is just really breathing. We do not fully breathe what we're capable of, which is just a nice big inhalation through your nose. And then you hold it in as long as you can, and then a nice deep breath out through your mouth. Like that relieves so much stress and anxiety. It's like unbelievable how healing our breath is. And then going outside barefoot is also another amazing stress reliever. I live in my bare feet like all year round practically.
I love that.
So going outside barefoot relieves stress. You were
I
saying?
love it. I love it. I will go for, and people always like the ground's dirty. Okay. Now my feet are dirty and they're
Right.
And I will say though, the soles of my feet are a little rough. Like they are pretty.
Yeah, they barely ever come clean because I live.
I do.
Savannah.
I'm a flip flop. It just like everything. The sand. When I go to the beach, I'm not somebody that really will wear like people wear flip flops on the sand.
Never.
I'm about to burn my feet in the sand.
Me too.
I just and I also think it's a sensory thing for me. I love to not socks are. Wearing socks and like slippers and stuff, you guys can't see the Uggs I'm wearing. That's a new thing, just because I'm trying to not have sweaty feet, whatever. But like even socks, I'm like when I get home, I pick them right off, right to the laundry bin. I'll get a new pair later if I want to put them back on.
Even if the floor is cold, that's a myth. Like that you're gonna get sick because the floor is cold and you have bare feet.
Oh my god!
I didn't know that. I didn't know
I
that
have.
was.
I forgot about that. I've heard that before.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Our feet do absorb though a lot of so you do want everybody clean your feet.
Yeah.
Don't
absolutely.
get them grimy, but there's
Stuff to wash.
People are starting talking about spraying their feet with magnesium spray instead of spraying on their pillows and their face because your feet, like when you're sick, they say to put the potatoes on your feet and like
the onions
and like stuff like that because it actually does because it's the base of you. So it's kind of like the way everything flows. It's gonna hit that spot. And some lady was like, I sprayed magnesium on my feet. I have not slept this good. And here I am, and she's like sitting there like this, like spraying it. I was like, oh, maybe I should try that. I haven't.
Magnesium baths also, they're amazing.
I just feel like I might like pass out in it and like not get. Knowing me, I know this is rest that I haven't felt in a really long time. You might not see me for a couple of days. But yeah, so you were saying just like
relieving stress naturally is a huge thing for PCOS. So is diet.
I was gonna say, do you think like herbal teas, herbal stuff like that?
Yes, watching what we put in our body. So like over processed foods, or even processed foods in general, those are going to react with the way that our bodies don't digest them, which is also going to cause that impact stress in your body.
Angelina, she's going to have an episode about this soon, about what the food here does to us and our mental health and our physical health. And I always say this, I've always heard the conversation, we've kind of like briefly talked about it, but once I went out of the country and I had food out of the country and I had food in a country that cares about its people,
I wouldn't say that it cares about its people. It's free health care, so they can't afford for people to be sick because they're providing them free health care.
Okay. That's a good way
to look at it.
But I'm going to have to believe that they do it for the people until proven otherwise. Only because in Amsterdam, that's just the vibe. In the Netherlands, that's just the vibes that they gave in the Netherlands. But I do see what you're saying with that. Just being kind of aware that,
I don't know about Amsterdam and Netherlands, but most of them don't. It's just because they have free health care.
Yeah. The only thing about the Netherlands is that it's like a real big biking country city. Amsterdam's a really big biking city, and you just with the sodas. I guess you're right. They probably can't afford to have people get sick. That's probably honestly the base reason. Right. That's the base reason, but they do a really good way of supporting that thought.
Exercise is another great
I've never
form.
Felt so good.
Yeah, exercise, eating, and your stress levels really will maintain just about any disease, because disease is just dis-ease in your nervous system, which then becomes disease in your body. And all those things, stress relief, diet and exercise will help with all of those. Your mental health too.
My stepdad says that those diseases that manifest themselves, they come from stress or from like very negative thinking about certain
Absolutely,
things. And then
100%.
thinking about your wellness in certain parts of
Well,
you.
you have stress hormones. It's an actual hormone.
Mhm.
So if you're overly stressed, overwhelmed, your body is going to produce more of that hormone, which is going to affect your other glands and your endocrine system. So it literally all connects, and it's very interesting how the human body works.
I agree. And also, since we're talking about all this doctors and nurses stuff too, if you feel as though your doctor, your nurse, or your practitioner is not taking you seriously, is not listening to you or helping you in the way that you're looking for, don't ever be, and I know people's insurances nowadays, it's tricky, but don't ever be scared to stand up for, no, something's not right. No, I don't like this. No, I don't feel good. Symptoms. Do never stop sticking up for yourself when it comes to your health, because I finally did, and I switched my doctor finally, and I'm looking forward to it. Angelina's recommendations, an all-female doctor's office, just because like I came to my doctor about so many things, and just like, you're fine. And I'm like, no, something's wrong. I feel it. Everything's fine on your levels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, then what is it that I feel this way? You're fine. Okay, well, I go to therapy and it's not getting solved in therapy.
Right.
It's every
Everything's
physical
okay.
thing. You know, things like that. Like, especially with my head, I constantly get dizzy. That's another topic though. But that will be a really good episode talking about. And I think it'll make people more conscious of what they're consuming, because we do live in a country where what we consume is not paid attention to. That's another thing I learned in Amsterdam. We love to eat here. They look at you crazy in other countries the way we ate our appetizers, lunch. I always say the lady was like, "You want some time?" And we were like, "No, bring
Like, would you like to digest that food first?
no." And I asked for 2 sodas at once because they were like the little portion, and he was like, "Both for you." And I'm like, "God damn! Like,
Why are you judging me?
why is everybody judging us?" And like when you're eating, people are staring. Like, damn. Like when I was in the McDonald's eating the fries, I was with Jen, I think it was Jen or Michelle, and Michelle was like, "Guys, people are staring at us," and she like started to like get like messed up about it. And I was like, "Just eat your food, it's fine. Like I'm eating 6 French fries at once, yes." And I'm sorry that like because they other places though, because they take their time.
Chew 20
We
times.
eat here like we have somewhere to go, and but our service too is. We talk about this when you
Turn
go to
around.
eat.
Well, they don't have tips and
No, so they don't rush you, so you have all the time to eat and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But then you also can't get the bill. It takes you like you gotta hunt it. Like, can I get it?
Because your food has to be your medicine over there.
Oh, that was a really good. That was a good episode. Is there anything else that you kind of want to leave with this episode? You know, I always think that episodes are like little little capsules.
yeah.
Keep hitting this little like catalog to kind of like open it up. There's certain people in it for this day or whatever. We're wearing something different. We're talking about it, and then it's kind of closed. Then you can like kind of pick through. So, is there anything you want to leave with this episode?
I did just want to touch base on a prevention for suicide awareness.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which is just really not focusing on the past and trying to focus on the present moment, and just even if you don't feel grateful, find something to be grateful for. You could just say like, I'm grateful that I got a good night's sleep last night, or I'm grateful that the sun is shining today and there's no rain and there's no gray sky. Just finding one thing to be grateful for is going to shift that perspective of I'm depressed versus I found something to be grateful for, and which can really truly prevent that suicide. And finding some sort of morning practice with self-love, like saying I love you to yourself. It feels unusual and weird in the beginning, but if you stick with it, you will fucking fall in love with yourself.
I mean, Angelina talked about one of our favorite things that got us into that was making our bed every morning, because you're making it for yourself. Even if it's brushing your teeth, like little things that you do to yourself that
Getting
show
a
that
shower.
you value yourself. Showering. So also too, some of you guys are already doing those things and you're thinking like, well, I don't have any self-love. Well, you shower yourself, you wash your hair. You might not do it every day, but now keep that effort. My stepdad says depression comes from past thinking and anxiety comes from
Future.
future thinking. So if you live in the moment and you're not worried about something you can't control in the past and something you can't predict in the future, you will have an alignment state of body because you're sitting
Brings
every
peace.
moment, and it brings a sense of peace. And that is something he told me growing up. I was like, my stepdad really is the person that kind of like showed me, kind of like steered me to like looking outside the box, and then it just tumbled. But I remember when he told me that, I was like, dude, you're crazy. He's like, everything's about numbers rule the world. I was like, this man is nuts. And like, it was like, kind of like that stepdad thing where I hadn't fully accepted him as my stepdad. Now I call him my dad. Like, I just have two dads. And he used to just say like he used to teach me how to read the stars, and I used to love that. But I still would be like, my stepdad's crazy. Like, this man's nuts. And then I got older, and I'm like, holy crap, he's actually like the most sane person I know. He's actually the most aware person that I know. Like, he used to tell me, don't go to LA, don't go to California, you don't want to be like an A-list celebrity, you don't want the Hollywood fame. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? It's amazing. Look at everyone. And he learned the Hollywood fame, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. No.
I don't want to go there.
You guys can stay there. I'll visit like the vineyards and the vineyards or whatever, however you say it, in like the nice part of California.
I do have to say Venice Beach is so fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll do that, but don't invite me to your white party.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh yes, but and as always, we have Katy's resources linked in all of our bios.
Yes.
You guys will see her tagged throughout the week of the episode and everything like that. And thank you for just coming on and helping us do our little healing and growth here. And I hope that
My pleasure.
this was like
Thanks
a
for
really good
having me.
episode. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Say I love you to you. Say I love you to you. Oh yeah, I wanted. Can you reach that? These are little mirrors that Katy had brought us, and they're like to say I love you to yourself. And then
I have mine in my book bag.
mine's in my work bag, but I guess we'll all do it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be cute. We'll do that at the very, very end of it. That'll be like our very outlet. That'll be our outlet.
Okay.
But we do have to do peak and pit. So my pit, I don't have one. Which is a common theme we keep into the past couple of weeks,
Yay.
but we're not forcing it. And I changed my peak. Oh, Angelina's gonna love this one. I changed my car battery key. Finally.
Oh my god, fine.
The man, if God forbid,
Wait, you know this whole time there's car batteries at Target.
oh yeah, I don't see, that's my bit. Thank you for that. I found out afterwards I didn't have to do this. I mean, it was $7, but at Walmart you get like 2 for $5. But the man that fixed my car key battery was fine. He made the experience wonderful. He was nice man. He knew he looked good, but like I literally was like, I'm so glad I didn't come a day sooner and didn't come a day later. Like I left there like, I got my car key, like whatever. He was like, have a good. Oh, I love a handsome, beautiful person, and that acts handsome or beautiful. Like yes, so that was my peak. That was the best time of my life because you know me, I'm really in a bubble.
Oh yeah.
So you would not have gotten that at Target.
Yeah, no.
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 I would not have gotten that at Target. That's why you go to the real source. Sometimes you gotta go to the men.
Yeah.
Make them useful. All right, go ahead. What would your, Katy, your peak or pit?
My peak would be, I just got back from vacation. I spent a week on the beach in North Carolina, in Outer Banks.
That's
So just
amazing.
literally having the ocean at my back door, like we slept with the door open at night and you could hear the ocean all night long. And I usually sleep with the ocean waves on Alexa, but like just having
real life.
oh my goddess, I can't wait to go
That's one of those
on a beachfront
vacations that
property.
last day just.
Oh, amazing. So like my peak was just spending a week on the beach. Like it cleansed me. It just, it's so amazing. I loved it. I didn't want to leave.
That's, oh, no, I
So my pit was leaving.
Yeah.
And then for you?
My pit is I'm exhausted for some reason, so I need my freaking energy drink. My peak is when this episode comes out, the mini Mike series will be live. And I'm so excited.
Welcome to End Zone Essentials.
I know.
So we'll just briefly explain it to you as like our outro. We got little mini mics. We have football merch that we're coming out with because we're big football girls. Falls for football, and if you don't love football, it's just not the season for you. because
Sign off.
We are football
Sign
girls. It's fall. It's fall.
No,
it's just a
It's
vibe.
the best time of the year. You have the holidays, you have the sports. You
Yeah.
have people are nicer usually, and stuff like that. So we are going to do podcast episodes at the Eagles tailgate at the home games, and it's called End Zone Essentials. And
Yes.
it's going to be like us, but we're going to make it football version.
Yeah.
I
So
love
version
it.
of us.
Yes. So by this comes out,
And hopefully by the end of the season, I know every NFL player. That's like my
Okay.
goal. And like,
there you
Go
go.
Birds.
like,
We can even have people quiz us.
no, don't do that the first episode.
No,
not
no,
you could
by the end.
By the end.
Yeah, like what if we go to like people who are like really decked out, or even seeing that, like, you know,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. But so during this season, you guys are going to see a switch where our episodes are going to be dropping on Mondays, earlier in the mornings, kind of. I think it's at 10 a.m. And the mini mic series will be going on Sundays, so we will be switching that around. I don't know if we'll switch around just when we have that mini mic episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there'll be days where we're posting us on Monday, because Sundays are for football. Even if it's it's Sundays are for football. It's the
Sundays.
vibes. You wake up. The
Honestly,
birds are chirping,
whenever-
the windows crack, the candles lit, someone's cracking a beer, buffalo chicken dips coming.
The
up
buff
behind it.
chick dip. The goddamn buff. I'm sorry, but that's the best part.
You can put whatever you want, whatever preservatives you want in that buffalo chicken dip. I'm eating it.
I make a pretty mean buffalo chicken dip, and it's healthy and it's delicious.
Love
Well,
that.
we're gonna have to do a
Do
little
football
Sunday
Sunday.
together. Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay, I love that. I would
Yes.
love if you can make, and I believe you can. If you can make buffalo chicken dip healthy and tastes banging,
Mm-hmm.
sold. I might eat the whole pan.
I like when it's crispy on top, and then
and
you
you
like
dip.
dip, and
Has to be
it's like
crispy
on top.
melts.
Yep, and then like
It's so creamy
I
and
will-
delicious.
and I will
Yeah.
keep picking from the top. Like I don't hit that bottom real layer until the crispy's
the
gone.
end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So everything else is
Like when other people are dipping in the bottom, like, can you do that? I'm gonna go scrape across the entire top.
I'm just gonna take all this
Yeah.
crispy cheese.
And also, my goal this season is to go to a game and not black out.
I've only been to one, and I blacked out and possibly one.
No, like actually go into the game.
Oh.
I go to tailgates all the. Well, I used to.
That is it for episode 4. I hope you guys are loving season 2. What happened? Oh, Amira, yes. I hope you guys are loving season 2. You guys have been texting us, submitting our feedback. Like, things are going to a great start, and I do think this little mini mic series,
Yeah.
it's gonna give us a little different perspective.
Yeah.
We're not sitting on our beautiful blue chairs and like, you know, talking down your
Wow,
throat
I
about
know.
self-love. We're always like self-love, happiness, whatever. Now we're about to go unhinged.
We're
gonna
going
go-
unhinged.
We are going into the wild of Philadelphia.
Birds. Wild. Go birds.
So we are going to do our outro of just saying I love you and our name while looking in the mirror. And I'm going to giggle, but it's okay because A for effort. I don't usually say my name. Angelina knows it freaks me out to say my name, but you say it's really good to say her name, so I'm going to do it for the podcast episode. When I do pass mirrors, though, I do like wink at myself. So there's moderations, but I love you, Tyler.
I love you, Katy. You're a mother effing goddess, and I'm so proud of you.
I love you, Angelina. And face it towards them.
Oh.
We love you guys.
Love
Have an
you.
amazing Sunday, Monday. I actually don't know. I said Monday in the beginning. You guys might be watching some Monday. We gotta go there because I love you. Bye. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. We're finished right now. I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't know that. Is it every Friday?
I bounced, yeah. I had
No,
an
that's
in-person add-on. I usually get here at 9:30, but I'm here a little early.
Okay, so I just want to keep that noted. So when we do,
It does change. Okay, you guys won't be ready until I have a 9 o'clock coming.
at
So
9.
yeah.
Is there? Sorry.
We're actually just wrapping up. We're about.
Okay.
Yeah.
We go strictly by what rooms we're supposed to use, because then if I take someone else's room, not I'm in there.
Yeah. I didn't know. I
That's
thought
okay,
Friday
don't worry about
mornings
it.
were like empty mornings.
Yeah. No, don't worry about it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It was gonna happen eventually.